Welcome back, you beautiful people. It is August 2022, so naturally we're taking a look back at what happened in July 2022. As always, if you're liking what you're hearing and seeing here, even if you don't like the news, like the way that it's being presented to you, feel free, of course, to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and share this content with people who you think might be interested to keep up to date with what's going on in the market as we speak, not to mention upcoming listings before they hit the market. They'll be on this channel. So we'll jump right into it. In the month of July 2022, we only sold 1,110 houses, which is a decrease of 35.4%. So a lot less properties being sold. The average price year over year has only gone up by 3.8%. We've been used to in the past seeing average prices go up by 10 or 20%. So a bit of a change there. Inventory, you can see we've got a lot more inventory, almost 50% more inventory. But if you track versus June 2022, you can see the number there has gone up by about 300 or about 10% more inventory in July versus in June. Okay. So what that means, essentially, we've got just under 3 months worth of inventory. It still is a seller's market, just not as strong a seller's market as it was before. As soon as we get to about 4 months worth of inventory, then we'll move into more of a balanced market. Year to date combined, you can see we have not sold as many houses, residential and condo properties, 10,690 versus 13,141 in 2021. But again, the average price has gone up by about 9.9% year to date. That number might go down slowly as we move forward, but the average price of a home and condo went down by $45,000 month over month. The month before it was down by $30,000. The month before that was $20,000. Last 3 months, average prices declined about $100,000 from a peak earlier this year in March. So we're a similar price point as we had last year. So certainly something to pay attention to as we move forward. We'll break down into both different sides. First, the residential side here in the month of July, you can see the number of sales 35% less. So a lot less buyers out there, a lot less people who are interested in buying houses and the effect that that has on the sellers. Average price increase by 4.5% year over year. On the inventory side, again, you can see we've got twice the inventory, or sorry, 50% of the inventory that we had this time last month. But when you look month over month, you can see it's more of a slow creep than a drastic change like that. So yeah, more houses to choose from, less buyers who are looking. And so it starts to level off. We are still in, like I said, we are still in a seller's market, just not as strong a seller's market as we were for the past 2 years. And that's the effect of the interest rate changes. Okay, that's what they've wanted to do. They wanted to increase the interest rate, and so to sort of curb inflation and to curb. Big part of that inflation is house prices going up. Well, house prices are not going up the same as they were the last 2 years. So you can see year to date here, we're up in terms of average price by 10.6%, but we're down in terms of number of transactions by 19.6%. And so all of this, we went down 24,000 March to April, 25,000 April to May. May to June was $30,000 down, and June to July was $56,000 down month over month. So we might lose as much as $150,000 or more in terms of average residential price over the course of 4 to 5 months. That's because we had an absolute frenzied price in March, and now we're seeing the prices come back down to being reasonable. So they're more in line with last year's prices. They're going to hit a floor, at which point some sellers will say, "Look, if I'm not going to get this price for it, I'm not going to sell my house." So sellers will start to peel back the inventory from the market, and that will have an effect moving forward. So then we look over into the condo world, right? So where are things going on the condo side? You can see there's 270 sales versus 411 last year. That's a decrease of 34.3%. But again, the average price has gone up by 1.4% in that month of July. Inventory, there is more for sale, but the numbers aren't as drastic as they are on the residential side. So you can see there's a little bit more for sale in July 2022 versus June 2022, but not even 100 more units for sale. So we've got a little bit less of a absorption rate, which is what they call this, how many months of inventory there are. And of course, this is different across different segments. So where you live, what kind of condo you have, whether it's an apartment condo, whether it's a condo townhouse, all of this matters, and you want to pick out the particularities of your type of home and how all of this matters to you. This is just a generic overarching theory, but it is certainly a seller's market. Year to date in the condo world, we've sold less condos by 15.7%, but again, the average price of a condo has gone up by 9.3%. And so you can see here the condo market is feeling that financial squeeze as well. The lower price point buyers, the investors can afford to pay the prices that we saw in March, because the interest rates are so high. And so for investors, that really digs into their bottom line. And for first-time home buyers, or people who are buying a less expensive condo, every dollar every month matters. It doesn't seem to be hit as hard as the residential segment, but maybe the case that the numbers are smaller, and so the swings seem a little bit smaller too, if that makes sense. Anyways, if you'd like an in-depth conversation about how this applies to you when you're selling your home or condo or investment property, if you're thinking about buying one, or if you're thinking about investing in real estate, as always, feel free to give me a call. You can book an appointment directly with me in the Calendly link below. Of course, the phone number, as always, 1-888-REAL585. And until then, keep it real, collective.